This is still July 20th, 2026. I told you. Today down at Dutch Valley Restaurant, my God. Some lady said some guy called down there and told him that the Stark County sheriffs thought he was only acting that way when he was saying he's stealing all that money. I can't believe they would even fall for it. He would steal any money, and it was an act. And here he stole all kinds of money from the government for that girl. And then what's going on and on and on about it. Some guy in there was on the phone. I don't care what's going on. Somebody needs to pick up Agent John for stealing all that money. Then some idiot man coming in there. We had it all set up down here to take care of this. And that idiot girl was in here confessing they hired drug dealers to do it to her. And they photoshopped everything. Ha ha. Ha. Then other people, we all know it's Agent John. That girlfriend that's a prostitute, her dad and his friends scamming everybody for them to steal. The whole thing is. I know. You know, it's something. When you get it down to the point to find out that Henry Moffey, where it was so funny when he admitted that he'd never met me in person, where the investigators laughed, that he's that guy Pete Dave hired on his own. He's that agent's girlfriend's dad that's a prostitute and the fake dirty doctor. And where they, what was it, May 9th or April 9th, out in Alliance, in Myers by the front register, investigators did research on that so-called attorney doing it. His credentials aren't real. He's just some guy Dave hired. They all been scamming him. Agent John with his prostitute girlfriend, his dad, and their friends. And he had his prostitute seduce my ex-husband so they could do it to me, which is that prostitute is Katie's family member, the family that's in debt. Close the circle. Got the idea? Because I kept thinking, why are you messing with me? I've never hurt anybody in my whole life. Even the investigators, Karen's never hurt anyone. She doesn't even have it in her to hurt anyone. Okay? So why would you hurt somebody at this point, especially trying to destroy me? Why would you destroy me? They want the case thrown out. You know, that girl yesterday, they're trying to get her kicked out of the witness protection program. You can't. The attempt to get me kicked out is a federal crime. Bite me. You know, those people had showed up. They were going to try to make her have a competency hearing down there and pay people off to lie. They can't even ask for one. They can't even request one. See, these are the same lunatics that told Carl's family they could get enough people to write up he had dementia and Alzheimer's, that his son could bash his head in, and if he didn't kill him, he could kidnap him, take him out to Youngstown, have an attorney find him incompetent, throw him in a nursing home. He could walk off with everything and steal everything. You can't go around bashing little old people's heads in. Nor can you have somebody wrote up they're insane and then steal everything and have people and railroad people into asylums. Where do these people think they could? Do they think Tuscarawas County don't know the law? Is that it? Because I'll tell you what, investigators already showed up March 5th, 26. They didn't find it one bit funny, that agent showing up with those people, that bounty hunter. People showed up and told all them that he took a payoff. That's why all this happened. Do you think where that idiot... Okay, I told you what happened on July... What was it? It was last Thursday. So what was that? The 16th? July 16th, 26th? I take Daniel to his counseling. It's in the same building as the FBI Belden office. He's fine on the way over there. Fine. You know, we already talked about everything. You know, I'd asked him years ago if they knew about body cameras, if they knew about a shower scene. I tape a weird with herself. People are laughing at me. And stores, they Photoshop washing in the shower. Did you guys know anything about that? No. Do you remember the bruises, orange, lemon, grapefruit, bruises all over me, throwing up and almost passing out, and it kept happening? Yeah, I remember you like that. Did you know he was having people roofing me and tell me, say, weird molester stuff? They're laughing at me in stores how they frame me in front of people. And that's what was causing the bruises. And Jen's like, you know, I didn't put it together. Somebody was hurting you. I thought you were working too hard and bruising too easy. I never thought of someone harming you, Karen. Nobody did. And I've seen the doctor for all the signs of being drugged, being raped. All of them. And blaming the dirty orange well water and showering in, thinking it was toxic. They had me so drugged up I didn't know anything. Now I want you to think about this. Think hard. That's where they didn't know anything. And then these people, because I'm either harmed, suffering from injuries, working. And when I knew it was safe, I'd go over. So there was big lapses. I didn't. In the meantime, they're telling people all these lies. So me and Daniel, where he's had a really hard time with everything. I said, when you look at everything as a lie and a scam, it's just a drug scam. Drugs and told to say stuff, photoshopping, washing, where you guys didn't know about the cameras or that shower scene. They've already confessed. I said, it's just a drug scam. They thought they could take it to the FBI. They'd open a case and hand them the money. They'll never give them money. And then, you know, HIPAA violations. None of your doctors can talk about you without your consent. I know that. Then it's a federal crime. They can't have my medical records. None of my doctors would be willing to talk. It's ridiculous Twilight stuff. Okay? So, and I said, in Melissa's kids, because I did report this to the FBI. They did open a case. The house was legally blocked because police and agencies can only be in a home under a threat of life with statements in a court order. Even the FBI can't be in. It's a right of privacy over your home. And they have to agree to protect you. Our house was legally blocked on Thanksgiving of 18. John's kids were taped saying that they wanted the house for Agent John's prostitute, Auntie Shell, and Papa. Then later on to Florida, they made everything up. Melissa got caught friends with a prostitute. And having the kids lie, make up the dirty stuff, and them in games of pretend. And I said, and when you look at everything as a scam, and that's all it is a scam. Okay? That, he's like, Grandma, I needed to hear this. And I said, you need to forgive your grandfather. And forgive yourself for hating him. He's like, I can't believe he betrayed all of us. Dave was the most blessed man in the world. He was too stupid to realize it. He had a wife of 33 years. Loved him with all her heart. Had children that loved him and 10 grandchildren that adored him. Okay? Had 2 cushy jobs where he could go set up a CNC computer, put a part in there, program it, sit down for a half hour, make fishing lures, pop up his feet, go readjust it an hour later. Cushy jobs. Made over $110,000 a year. He was the most blessed man in the world. You know what? He threw it all away for drugs and prostitutes. Now he lost everything, everyone, and fled the country forever. Cost him everything. And see, that's where, you know, when we got Daniel out, we were getting him to try to get his temps, drive around parking lots, learn to control a car, how to park it, how to maneuver it, okay? Then we took him down to Carl's old farm, had him help lift bale of hay. He said, I think I could do this. I could work on a farm. I said, well, factory jobs are about the same. You just lift and pack. I could do this. I said, I know you can. He said, life don't seem so scary. He won't leave the house since that lady got to him. Find out who it is. It was a federal crime for that center to let him back. You can't let an attorney back there. You can't let anybody back there. You can't let them access to somebody trying to get medical treatment. My God, they broke federal laws of HIPAA. You need to find out who that fucking lady was, because she was behind me on Sunday in Burger King bragging. Oh, we didn't know that everything in her medical records, except for her muscles locked up, was already documented fraud and medical malpractice and medication errors. Yes, you did. What are you doing with my medical records, you idiot? Well, I'll turn in what I got. You better not have one damn thing. It's a federal crime. And who gave it to you? Because you just lost 10 years in your license for having them. See, do they not think that, Tuscarawas County don't know what HIPAA is? The right of privacy over your medical records? You can't have somebody's medical records? You can't have knowledge of them? You can't do anything. They're federal crimes. And bragging how they're going to try to get me out of the witness protection program. You can't. Even the attempt of trying to get me thrown out is a federal crime. Like Walter that used to work at the Starr County Prosecutor's Office. If the FBI ever tried to drop you, the Department of Justice put him in jail. You're a threat and attempt to life case. These people tried to kill you. They could wait and try to kill you again. You'll be in protective custody the rest of your life because these people hired people to kill you. See, that's where I kept thinking, why, with them stealing all that money, why on earth would you try to destroy me? Why? Why bother? Why bother? And then I thought, it's just the case. They want the case thrown out. Where they started breaking about the loophole in 19. They were going to get the case thrown out. That agent told on her, you don't have the authority to ask her to stay quiet. Okay? Then he bullied her on a recorded line. He admitted he had everybody in his office, made fun of her, opened a real case, and took all the money and left her there. He's defrauding her whole time. He had no legal right around him. Now it's last year, they were coming for the case. They were going to get every drug dealer released. And they were going to get for them defrauding me. And that they have no legal right around me. She's either a paid informant. And they stand up for that case, and we'll get it thrown out. That's where they're laughing. And every drug dealer that gets released, they will sue the government for tens of millions of dollars of false arrest under fraud. I talked to Walter from the Starr County Prosecutor's Office. He used to work there years ago. He said they could. The FBI has to pay you. They have to stand up for that case. And then I did research of how it could get thrown out, of just even being mistreated and not paid. So that's where with the different, I research everything. Okay. If I signed a willing worker thing, like the investigator said, they hope the FBI takes her offer. That if I signed that I was willing to stay there while they were surveillancing me to get the people threatening my life and harming me and others. Knowing my constitutional rights of the First Amendment, freedom of speech, that agent did not have the authority to ask me to stay quiet. He was only bullying me. Knowing the agency alone would be the one paying me. Knowing I was risking my life, facing personal harm and injury, but knowing the agency would compensate me for any harm or injuries. But I was willing to risk it to help them get these people. It takes me from a victim that was defrauded to a knowledgeable willing worker knowing my rights. I sign it, they pay me, they compensate me, legitimate case. Like they said, it'll work. We hope they take her offer. Can't even believe she'd offer to help them after everything. Well, we're talking about $10 to $25 billion. Time you get all the drug dealers out. $10 to $25 billion. See, that's where, what was it, June 3rd, 26, was down in Magnolia, about the Bell store. Going to the bathroom, girls came in and said the Kingsmen are dying laughing. All their drug dealers are going to get released. And they're all going to be millionaires, and they're going to sue for tens of millions of dollars of false arrest under fraud. FBI won't pay her money, and they won't stand up for their own case they created. They'd rather let the drug dealers walk. They can't believe it. I wrote the president. I sent another email to the president, to the OPR, CIA, the sheriffs, and how who is who, and how it's Agent John, his girlfriend, his dad, and their friend running a big con here. But the Kingsmen are the ones that, the drug cartel that is trying to get them to do all this. That's where that prostitute, that's where the Kingsmen are looking for stealing all that money. And that's where the poor family that was in debt, it's Katie's family from that church. That prostitute's her family. People have showed up, that is that girl's family member, the one they stole for, the poor family. Where Katie bragged to people they were stealing everything for her and her family, it is her family, that prostitute. When you put each piece together, that's where I told you. I think it's May 9th, it may be April 9th, but May 9th or April 9th, Myers and Alliance by the Front Register's investigators. I'm tired of that so-called attorney for children. The guy said, I looked him up. I checked his credentials. They're not real. It's just some guy Dave hired on his own saying he's an attorney. It's that bad. And what's going on about him? He's not an attorney. He confessed he was the one that put me through complete horror in Walmart Alliance, July 8th, 26, in the back, screaming it out. He got his confession. People were laughing the other day. Some teenagers outside my work, we found out the guy that was supposed to have taped her before confessed. He never met her in person. The Henry Mauvie. That's where the investigators were dying laughing. He confessed he never met her before. We told you she didn't know what's going on. And then over time, investigators showed up. Well, that's that guy, Pete, that Dave hired on his own. He was supposed to be the fake dirty doctor. And then if you take Henry Mauvie's statement from January 1926 and then September 30th, 25 at 1 in the morning, that Michelle that confessed then too, that this whole thing is her family's debt to drug dealers. She never met me. Or that I don't know who she is. She had my skull bashed in, me raped and tortured because they're in debt to drug dealers. They human traffic people to pay off those debts. They were the ones that incited Carl's family, my new husband, family, to threaten his life, to steal his farm because she wanted it for herself. And she did know everything was documented: fraud, medical malpractice, and medication errors. And they did encourage us to sue them for years. And they did know the drug dealers photoshopped everything. And then if you take Henry Mauvie's confession, January 1926, and Bob Evans in Belden, how he was so glad he never met me in person, insults me, talks about the case. The other Michelle had been telling on him for what they're doing. Boy, is she going Nazi on them. Her and her friends. And let's see. And that he was the one inciting Carl's family to threaten his life, to steal everything. And that he was trying to pull a fast one on the FBI and steal all the case's money for himself in front of the police and FBI. Okay? Put those together, their father, daughter. And then people showed up. Well, the investigator showed up the next day. We told you she don't know what's going on. That guy admitted he never met her in person. And people showed up. That's supposed to be the doctor from before. That's that guy Dave hired on his own, the one they call Pete. So, and then where the sheriffs were saying where June 26, that girl cackling in the restaurant is that agent's girlfriend that said they were stealing everything for her. She's the one that tells everyone he has to pay her to date him. And an investigator already called her a prostitute. And how they thought he was just acting that way. And until he showed up at the other courthouse with those people trying to get the case thrown out September 10th, 25, knowing that he is with them. It wasn't a scam to get the drug dealers. So, where that June 26, Dutch Valley restaurant, that girl comes in, we're sitting in a booth with a half wall, and she screams out for, oh, please, and that's to hear that it's my family doing all this for me. They're stealing everything for me because she's a faker. Strange as life. But it was medical malpractice, medication errors, and fraud that almost killed me. And it took me 9 months to get one. But he had to make up a lie to get rid of me. And he thought I was fooling him and Katie. And she already confessed she already knew it was that. And she's like, it's my family stealing everything for me. The drug dealers we hired to do this to her taped her in the shower washing herself and photoshopped that in the other room to make her look weird with herself making fun of her. You have to pay that to date you? My God, I'd pay it to go away. Anybody would pay that to go away. And how she's stalking me in my home. And how everybody's stealing for her. That was that Michelle, the prostitute, the agent's girlfriend. So you put it together. Agent John's girlfriend is that Henry Moffey Pete guy, fake dirty doctor girlfriend, and his dad. Where they said that Will guy is a fake attorney. Just some guy Dave hired on his own too. And it's that agent stealing. He has sold government technology to the cartels where they said, well, selling the login for $25 a pop. They live streamed this since the first or second month. And M13 is now live streaming protected custodies on the internet, having people in protected custody harassed. Well, that agent sold the cartels. Agent John sold the cartels the login for $25 a pop. And it's in other states. It's everywhere. And see, that's when the case started, when they started selling it. People knew more than I did. Because they had me so drugged up. The only thing I knew was people had tried to kill me before. People are showing up threatening my life. And Dave's threatening my life. And then he's threatening to kill my family. And they kept me so drugged up there, I didn't know anything. And I thought it was a well water killing me. And it's just that agent. And it's Katie's family. But the problem of it is, they are messed up with the Kingsmen from Texas. And Judge Peters' group from Florida. But the Kingsmen from Texas, where all law enforcement's after them. Okay? If you look up the King from Texas, where they said, how do they put it? We all work for the King from Texas. We are his men. He's a drug lord. Dave hired us. You look him up. He's U.S. military Iraqi translator. Went into the dark web, malware, fentanyl king. He's a fentanyl dealer. They're all after him and his men. All right, I'm going to upload this.